Have you ever wondered what truly goes on behind the headlines to make a country's international relations run smoothly?
Hmm.
Beyond the grand diplomatic meetings, the global summits, the high-level stuff we see on the news, there's this vital, often unseen engine at work.
Yeah, an engine meticulously orchestrating countless moving parts. It has to, right? To navigate that complex global landscape
It's
effectively.
far too easy, isn't it, to just focus on the visible parts of diplomacy,
Right.
the handshake, the joint statement.
The photo ops.
Exactly. But the real depth of international engagement, the consistent, impactful work that truly builds a nation's global presence, well, that often happens in these divisions operating, beneath the public spotlight.
They really are the architects of influence, aren't they? Working meticulously behind the scenes to translate policy into something tangible, into action.
Absolutely. And today, you and I are embarking on a deep dive into precisely one such fascinating world, the Parliament and Coordination Division within a key ministry. And our compass for this journey isn't some top secret file, but actually an annual report. Now, I know an annual report might sound, well, a bit dry.
Uh-huh. Not usually bedtime reading.
Definitely not. But when you understand how to read it, it really reveals the intricate, almost balletic choreography that enables a nation to engage effectively on the world stage.
And connect with its own citizens abroad, too. It's about solidifying its strategic position, fundamentally.
Right. So this deep dive isn't just about understanding bureaucracy. It's about peeling back the layers to see the very operational backbone that allows a country to turn its foreign policy hopes into reality.
Both within its borders and across the globe. It's really about understanding how national intent becomes international impact.
Our mission today, then, is to unpack the broad yet incredibly nuanced responsibilities of this specific division.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll journey from managing these complex parliamentary interfaces where the ministry answers directly to elected representatives, right through to coordinating massive nationwide campaigns that somehow span the entire globe.
Which is quite a feat in itself.
It really is. And we'll look at how they meticulously review international agreements, making sure they're still relevant, still beneficial,
Yeah.
and even how they facilitate foreign student admissions, which is a powerful, yet maybe subtle, form of diplomacy that builds bridges for the future.
Yeah, investing in people.
We're going to try and uncover how this division truly acts as a central nervous system, ensuring coherence and efficiency across incredibly diverse government functions and international engagements.
So this should give you, the listener, a unique vantage point into the operational mechanics of a ministry that genuinely touches lives, both here at home and globally.
It's about understanding that unseen architecture that supports a nation's reach, its influence, and its ability to act as one unified entity on the world stage.
Think of it like understanding the intricate clockwork behind the grand face of Big Ben, maybe.
I like that analogy. So get ready for some surprising insights, I think, and a much clearer understanding of how complex national and international initiatives truly come to life. Let's unravel these threads together.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this. When we talk about the Parliament and Coordination Division, the name itself, well, it immediately suggests a duality, doesn't it?
Parliament on one side, coordination on the other.
Right. Dealing with the legislature and then orchestrating all sorts of activities. It sounds like wearing a lot of different hats.
It certainly does.
But the source material, this annual report, it immediately gives us a broad stroke of its responsibilities, painting a picture of something far more expansive than just, say, handling parliamentary questions.
And what's truly fascinating here is precisely that deeply multifaceted nature of their role. It's not just about managing relations with Parliament.
Which is critical in itself.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's fundamental for accountability, transparency in any democratic government. But beyond that, their mandate extends to ensuring internal coherence across different departments within the ministry itself.
Okay, keeping their own house in order.
Exactly. And fostering external synergy with other government bodies on these big nationwide initiatives.
Oh, so connecting outwards, too.
Precisely. This immediately highlights its position as a central hub, a genuine nerve center, really vital for a cohesive national approach to both, domestic governance and international outreach.
Can you give an example? Like, how would that work in practice?
Well, imagine the complexity of a major foreign policy decision, maybe something that requires inputs from the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Commerce.
Right, multiple players involved.
Loads of them. This division acts as the indispensable conductor, ensuring all these different instruments, if you like, play in harmony.
That makes sense. And it gets even more diverse, which is what really caught my eye in the report.
Yeah.
The source mentions they review memorandums of understanding, MOUs, with other countries.
Right, the blueprints for international cooperation.
Exactly. So reviewing them implies a deep understanding of ongoing foreign policy, a real finger on the pulse of global engagement. But then, they also handle something as specific and tangible as admitting certain types of foreign students into Indian educational institutions.
Which is a very direct, almost personal impact on individuals and potentially future bilateral relations.
Totally. And for our digitally savvy listeners, they're also responsible for uploading the ministry's inputs onto various digital portals for monitoring purposes.
Keeping track of everything online.
So what does this all mean for us, for you, the listener, trying to grasp the big picture?
Well, I think it means this division is the linchpin. It's connecting high-level policy, the granular details of day-to-day admin, and crucial digital oversight.
Ensuring the ministry operates not just as a collection of separate departments, but as a single, well-oiled, integrated machine.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underscores the fundamental importance of having a unified administrative body. One that can skillfully navigate both legislative demands that direct accountability to Parliament and these broad national objectives like cultural diplomacy or economic engagement.
Or even those digital transparency initiatives you mentioned.
Right, which raises an important question for us. How does one division, even a very capable one, manage such an incredibly diverse and demanding portfolio without getting completely overwhelmed?
Yeah, how do they juggle all that?
The answer, as we'll get into now, seems to lie in its specialized sections. Each section focuses on a distinct yet intricately interconnected area, all working seamlessly under this broader umbrella.
Ah, okay, so it's divided up.
It seems so. It's really a masterclass in modern organizational design and operational efficiency when you look at it closely.
That makes perfect sense. To understand this intricate machinery, let's really zoom our lens in now, section by section. Let's start with what might seem like its most traditional, yet incredibly vital interface. The Parliament section.
Okay.
This sounds like the front line of accountability and communication between the ministry and the elected representatives. The very core of democratic oversight for foreign affairs, right?
Absolutely. This is where high-level policy meets direct public scrutiny through Parliament.
The report explicitly calls the Parliament section the ministry's direct interface with Parliament and the nodal point for all Parliament-related work.
Nodal point, that's key. It means any question, any concern, any debate that pops up in the legislative body regarding the ministry's functions, its foreign policy decisions, its international dealings, it all flows directly through this section.
So they're the gatekeepers for parliamentary communication.
In a way, yes. And their efficiency in ensuring a timely response to issues raised in Parliament while sticking to strict guidelines and protocols is absolutely crucial for maintaining democratic accountability.
It directly impacts the ministry's transparency, how responsive they seem to parliamentary scrutiny.
Exactly, which in turn builds trust with the public's representatives. It's a continuous and probably quite high-stakes dialogue.
And 2023 was a truly busy year for them, according to this report. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs, that's the body specifically tasked with scrutinizing foreign policy. They held an impressive 10 meetings on 6 distinct subjects.
Wow, 10 meetings. That is a significant amount of engagement. It indicates a very active role for Parliament in foreign policy oversight.
So what kind of critical issues were they dissecting? What does the report say?
Well, the breadth and depth of topics, as detailed in the report, really reflect India's key foreign policy priorities and the complex global challenges it's facing. First, they looked into countering global terrorism at regional and international level.
A perennial issue, sadly.
Indeed. It shows a continued, serious focus on a pervasive global threat. For the Parliament section, this means facilitating discussions on how India's anti-terrorism policies actually translate into tangible actions on the ground.
Right, not just the policy statement, but the how.
Exactly. Coordinating responses to parliamentary questions about specific threats, ensuring the ministry's stance is clearly articulated. It's about translating high-level security policy into clear, actionable, and accountable government responses for the legislature.
Okay, so explaining how policy works in practice, what else was on the committee's packed agenda?
Next up, they examined India's position in the ongoing climate change negotiations.
Another huge global challenge.
Absolutely. This highlights the nation's commitment to environmental diplomacy and its strategic stance. For the Parliament section, this involves preparing detailed briefs on these really complex international negotiations.
I bet those are complex.
Oh, incredibly. Explaining India's red lines, its aspirations, and addressing how domestic environmental policies weave into international climate commitments. It's not just about domestic policy, it's about India's international advocacy, its contribution to a global solution, and making sure Parliament understands the nuances of that critical balance.
That makes perfect sense. These are
Yeah.
massive, overarching issues requiring immense preparation, I imagine.
No doubt. Then there was Quad in Indo-Pacific region, impact thereof, and India's role and strategies for engagement and cooperation.
Okay, the Quad. Very topical.
It clearly underlined the quadrilateral security dialogue's significance in regional security and India's strategic alignment within that framework. So here, the Parliament section is crucial for explaining the implications of these multilateral frameworks.
What it means for India, basically.
Right, detailing India's strategic choices, addressing questions about regional stability, cooperation, especially in such a geopolitically vital region. They ensure Parliament is fully briefed on the strategic implications of these critical alliances.
Got it. What else?
India's engagement with G20 countries. That was, of course, a critical topic, especially given India's G20 presidency in 2023.
A landmark year.
Absolutely. This is fundamentally about economic diplomacy and global leadership, showcasing India's growing role in shaping international economic discussions. The Parliament section must have been working overtime,
I can imagine.
managing the huge volume of parliamentary inquiries and discussions related to India's agenda, its achievements, its leadership role during that year, making sure the global spotlight on the G20 also lit up domestic accountability.
And the regional focus, you mentioned that earlier, particularly on key economic partners, seems very prominent too.
Yes, precisely. India and Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC contours of cooperation. This points to the immense importance of bilateral and regional ties, especially with a region so vital for India's energy security, trade, and where a very significant Indian diaspora lives.
Huge diaspora connection there.
Massive. The Parliament section here facilitates discussions on strengthening these crucial relationships, addressing concerns from members of Parliament about diaspora welfare, trade relations, regional stability. It highlights the practical, daily work of maintaining and deepening these vital relationships that have an immediate impact on both national interests and millions of Indian citizens.
And finally, what was the sixth topic?
The last one is fascinating. India's policy planning and role of think tanks with special reference to ICWA and RIS.
Looking at the brains behind the policy.
Exactly. It explicitly acknowledges the intellectual backbone of foreign policy. It's about how rigorous research, independent thought, expert analysis from institutions like the Indian Council of World Affairs, ICWA, and the Research and Information System for Developing Countries, RIS, how that shapes strategic direction and long-term vision.
So the Parliament section would manage interactions where these think tanks present their findings.
Presumably, yes. Managing interactions where these intellectual contributions are presented, debated, ensuring that evidence-based policymaking remains central to India's diplomatic efforts. It emphasizes the importance of leveraging knowledge and academic rigor to inform foreign policy. That's a truly modern approach.
It really gives you a profound sense of the sheer variety and complexity of issues crossing the ministry's desk, from geopolitics to intellectual strategy, and how Parliament keeps them accountable across all these critical fronts: security, sustainability, strategy.
It must be exhausting, but it's absolutely essential work.
And that level of scrutiny and engagement, the sheer volume and depth of questions and discussions we're talking about here.
It's a testament to a healthy, vibrant democracy at work, isn't it? It ensures that foreign policy, even in its most sensitive aspects, remains aligned with national interests and responsive to public will, as expressed through their elected representatives.
Now, beyond the Standing Committee, the report also highlights 3 consultative committee meetings held in 2023. And these were personally chaired by the External Affairs Minister, the EAM himself.
Ah, okay. Chaired by the minister. That signals a higher level of importance.
Seems so. They focused on India's G20 presidency back in March, the crucial India-U.S. relationship in June, and then a comprehensive review of the G20 summit in October.
Right. These meetings, personally chaired by the EAM, do indicate a higher level of consultation, direct engagement on very specific, high-priority foreign policy issues. The G20 presidency in particular was such a landmark event for India.
Huge undertaking.
Immense. placing it at the helm of global economic and developmental discussions. The Parliament section's role here would be, I imagine, meticulously preparing detailed agendas, consolidating all the relevant background info.
Getting all the ducks in a row.
Pretty much. Coordinating attendance, inputs from other parliamentarians, ensuring that even the most sensitive diplomatic efforts are conducted with full legislative awareness and input. These aren't just briefings, they're deep dives into critical strategic partnerships and global leadership roles.
Reinforcing that commitment to collaborative governance on international matters.
Exactly.
And of course, there's the day-to-day, the constant hum of legislative engagement, dealing with individual queries from members of Parliament.
The bread and butter, perhaps?
Yeah, it could be. The source notes that 17 matters were raised under specific parliamentary mechanisms, things called special mention, Rule 377, and 0 hour in Parliament. And crucially, all received prompt replies.
Ah, okay. Those are specific procedures.
Yeah. Plus, countless standard Parliament questions were also replied to. This is the routine yet vital work that often goes unnoticed by the public, but really forms the bedrock of accountability.
Precisely. This highlights the painstaking diligence required to maintain accountability at every level. These are specific mechanisms in Indian parliamentary procedure, allowing members to raise urgent matters, seek clarifications, or draw attention to issues of public importance affecting their constituents or the nation.
Can you quickly explain those terms? 0 hour, Rule 377.
Sure, 0 hour is quite unique to India's parliament. It's an informal session where MPs can raise matters without prior notice, often demanding immediate government response on urgent issues. Rule 377 allows MPs to bring matters of urgent public importance that can't be raised under other rules. It needs prior notice, but maybe not the same immediacy as 0 hour. Special mention is for issues brought to the House's notice after question hour, letting a member briefly state an important matter.
Okay, got it. Different tools for MPs.
Right. And the fact that all 17 cases across these diverse mechanisms got timely and comprehensive replies is a key indicator of good governance and transparent administration. It shows meticulous attention to every legislative concern, however minor it might seem.
It's about building and maintaining that trust between the executive and the legislature, one query at a time.
Absolutely.
Finally, the Parliament section also ensures the laying of annual reports and financial accounts of key affiliated bodies directly in Parliament.
Okay, tabling reports.
Yes. This includes prestigious institutions like the Indian Council of World Affairs, ICWA, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, ICCR, Research and Information System for Developing Countries, RIS, Nalanda University, and South Asian University.
That function is absolutely essential for financial and operational transparency. These institutions are crucial for India's cultural diplomacy, foreign policy research, educational outreach.
So Parliament needs to see their books.
Exactly. It's a vital part of the broader accountability framework. It allows Parliament to scrutinize how public funds are used by these semi-autonomous bodies and how effectively they're contributing to India's overall international objectives. It reinforces the idea that even institutions with some independence are ultimately accountable to the people through their representatives.
Ensuring their work aligns with national priorities and ethical standards, a fundamental check and balance.
Couldn't have put it better myself. It underpins confidence in these vital organizations.
So we've seen how meticulously this division ensures accountability and communication with Parliament, truly acting as the ministry's democratic heartbeat.
A good way to put it.
But what happens when that heartbeat needs to propel massive national initiatives across the globe? Or manage complex interministerial efforts? That's where the ministry's unseen engine, the coordination section, steps in.
Ah, the coordination part of the name.
This is where coordination truly comes to life. It sounds like the ultimate orchestrator.
This section really epitomizes that unseen architect aspect we talked about earlier. It's not just managing, it's intricate orchestration. Like a conductor leading a massive orchestra, maybe all playing different instruments but working towards a single symphony.
Their success isn't always headline-grabbing, maybe, but it's fundamentally what allows the ministry to achieve its ambitious goals.
Definitely seems that way.
Okay, so this section was the designated nodal point for commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav Akkam, India's 75th independence anniversary celebrations.
Right, a huge national event.
Huge. And they managed this monumental task, not just at headquarters, but critically, at missions and posts abroad. And here's where the sheer scale becomes astounding. They effectively ensure that ACAM celebrations were carried out worldwide.
Worldwide. Wow. Think about the logistics of that.
Exactly. It could have been a logistical nightmare if not for this meticulous coordination.
What's truly fascinating here is the sheer audacity and scale. The source mentions around 15,000 events organized by missions and posts abroad till date.
15,000.
That's the number given. This isn't just coordination in a bureaucratic sense. It's logistical mastery on a global scale. Cultural diplomacy at its most expansive. Strategic projection of national identity across every continent.
Imagine the challenges. Different countries, regulations, cultures, time zones, resources.
It would require serious real-time problem solving, deep understanding of diverse local contexts, and an unwavering commitment to a unified national message. This wasn't just handing out flags, it was ensuring cultural programs, discussions, community events were meaningful and impactful everywhere from New York to Nairobi, Tokyo to Toronto.
And the impact was absolutely clear from the report.
Yeah.
ACAM celebrations by the ICCR and the missions posts saw enthusiastic participation by the Indian diaspora, Friends of India, people interested in India, and local governments themselves. And as a testament to their efforts, the ministry was awarded as the best performing ministry for the commemoration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav,
Awarded by the Prime Minister, no less.
in a ceremony presided over by the PM in October 2023. That's a huge, tangible achievement, demonstrating the real-world success of this relentless coordination.
That prestigious recognition profoundly underscores the strategic importance of soft power and cultural outreach in modern international relations. When a ministry mobilizes its global network like that, fostering genuine engagement from diverse communities, diaspora, influential local governments,
It significantly enhances the nation's global image.
its cultural footprint, its overall influence, it's far more than just a commemorative event. It's a powerful diplomatic tool. It builds enduring bridges through shared heritage and celebration.
It allows a nation to tell its own story, inviting the world to participate.
Exactly. This success is a prime example of how seemingly soft initiatives can have profoundly hard diplomatic impacts, translating cultural connection into geopolitical goodwill.
Now, beyond AGAMIM, the ministry, though its missions and posts abroad, also played a key role in celebrating other signature Government of India events.
Okay, what sort of thing?
Campaigns like Har Ghar Tiranga, Every Home, Flag, Rashtriya Ekta Divas Week, National Unity Day Week, Constitution Day, Ayurveda Day, the Meribadi Meridesh campaign, My Soil, My Nation, Ambedkar Mahaparinirvana Divas, commemorating Dr. Ambedkar, and Janjatia Gaurav Divas Tribal Pride Day, among others.
Those sound quite domestically focused, many of them.
They are deeply rooted in Indian culture, history, national identity, which raises that important question you alluded to earlier. Why does the Ministry of External Affairs play such a central role in celebrating what might seem like domestic campaigns abroad?
It must be a deliberate strategy, right? About projecting national identity and values globally, turning internal celebrations into external points of connection and understanding.
Makes sense.
Each of these events carry specific cultural, historical, or social significance within India. Celebrating them abroad serves multiple purposes. It connects the huge Indian diaspora to their roots, reinforcing cultural ties and pride.
Keeps them connected.
It informs foreign audiences about India's rich, diverse heritage and ethos, fostering greater understanding and appreciation. And critically, it reinforces national unity on a global platform, showcasing a cohesive and proud nation.
It's a deliberate, nuanced strategy to reinforce India's soft power, showcasing cultural richness and diversity as an asset in foreign policy.
It's about saying, this is who we are, this is our story, and we invite you to understand and appreciate it, subtly yet powerfully shaping international perceptions.
Now, the coordination section isn't just about these big campaigns. The report says it also effectively manages the ministry's complex interaction with other Government of India ministries and departments, state governments, union territories, autonomous bodies, even private institutions.
Wow, that sounds like a massive continuous task of internal and external liaison,
Yeah.
genuinely breaking down silos within the broader government structure.
It does.
And that's the unseen yet utterly critical work ensuring seamless governance and coherent policy execution. Think about the complexity again. A major foreign policy initiative, say a new trade deal or a cultural exchange. It rarely sits neatly within just one ministry. It often needs inputs or actions from multiple domestic ministries: finance, defense, commerce, culture, education, agriculture, you name it.
all needing to be on the same page.
Exactly. This section acts as the central point to ensure all these diverse entities are aligned, coordinated, working towards a common objective, preventing fragmentation, ensuring a unified national stance.
They're not just passing messages, they're actively identifying overlaps or potential conflicts and maybe mediating solutions.
That's what it implies, truly breaking down silos to present a cohesive front internally and externally. This is where the rubber meets the road for national policy implementation.
And the report shows they process political clearances for visits abroad for officials, but also for sports events, conferences, seminars, exhibitions, even diplomatic military flights.
Okay, managing clearances.
Yeah. And they also process 6 proposals for clearance of names under the Emblems and Names Act 1950. These might sound like minor details.
Nuts and bolts stuff.
Right, but they are the nuts and bolts of international engagement and national protocol, the subtle gates ensuring national security and diplomatic integrity.
And those clearances are far from trivial. They're absolutely critical for maintaining sovereign control, protecting national security, ensuring all international engagements align with national policy and diplomatic protocol.
Every official visit, every international event, every use of a national symbol needs careful vetting.
To prevent misuse or unintended diplomatic consequences, this section handles that crucial gatekeeping function, ensuring strict adherence to guidelines, preventing potential diplomatic missteps, or unauthorized use of national symbols.
It's a high-stakes, detail-oriented role where precision is paramount. A single error could have far-reaching implications.
The silent guardian of India's international image and legal compliance, perhaps?
And in a testament to modern governance, the coordination section also monitors and updates around 250 action points on something called the eSamiksha portal.
eSamiksha, what's that track?
It tracks high-level items, cabinet decisions, observations of the cabinet, recommendations of the Committee of Secretaries, the ministry's long-term vision document called SQS-10,
Okay, strategic stuff.
and progress on all ministry-funded projects. This sounds like an internal audit and real-time progress tracking system on steroids.
That shows a profound commitment to digital governance and real-time monitoring of policy implementation, moving way beyond traditional paper systems.
A digital dashboard for foreign policy.
Essentially, yes. The eSamiksha portal acts as a comprehensive, dynamic dashboard. It lets leadership track progress on high-level decisions, strategic goals, all those ongoing projects. It's a key tool for accountability.
Making sure things actually get done.
Right. Ensuring directives from the top are translated into action, monitored for results, adjusted as needed. This process significantly enhances efficiency, transparency, responsiveness across the ministry's diverse functions, makes it a truly modern, agile administrative body.
Imagine the sheer volume of data and decisions they're tracking. It's like overseeing a massive project management system for a whole nation's foreign policy.
It's quite something.
Finally, this section was also heavily involved in the Special Campaign 3.0 on Swachhata cleanliness, which ran from October 2nd to 31st, 2023.
Ah, the cleanliness drive.
Yeah, and the ministry actively participated through its offices worldwide. Seems like an interesting example of a primarily domestic administrative drive having global reach through the ministry's network.
It's a prime example of how national campaigns, even those focused on internal administrative hygiene and efficiency, extend to every part of government, even those with international mandates like external affairs.
So what were the focus areas for them?
The report mentions effective disposal of public grievances, addressing references from members of parliament, parliament assurances, comprehensive cleanliness drives within offices, systematic disposal of scrap, and crucially, weeding out obsolete files.
The file weeding again.
It's about internal administrative efficiency, setting an example, creating a more productive work environment. And for a ministry dealing with sensitive international info, efficient file management isn't just about tidiness, it's about data security and operational speed.
And the results for just that one campaign month are quite impressive, frankly.
What did they achieve?
The ministry conducted 785 cleanliness campaigns. A staggering 397,852 physical files were weeded out.
Nearly 400,000 files? Wow.
I can almost picture the dust clouds settling in offices worldwide. 668 e-files were closed. And a significant space, about 21,823 square feet, was freed up by removing junk and obsolete items.
That's tangible space recovered.
It really is. And on the public-facing side, 11,118 public grievances resolved, 112 PMO Prime Minister's Office references dealt with, and 43 MPA references disposed of. That's efficiency in action.
This level of detail in the report underscores the tangible, measurable impact of these campaigns. It's not just about appearances. It's about streamlining processes, improving workspaces, demonstrating responsiveness to citizens and legislators.
Weeding out nearly 400,000 files must dramatically improve information retrieval, reduce storage costs.
Enhanced data security, too. Resolving grievances and MP references quickly builds trust, shows commitment to public service. It's a holistic approach to administrative effectiveness. Good governance starts with systematic organization and continuous improvement, even in the details of file management.
And when you project that across a global network of offices, the collective impact on efficiency and perception must be immense.
Absolutely.
Let's move on now to the monitoring cell. Their name immediately suggests oversight, right?
Monitoring, yes. Keeping an eye on things.
And the source confirms they coordinate the continuous review of memorandums of understanding and agreements signed with foreign countries. This is where the ongoing proactive assessment of India's vast web of international commitments happens.
Ensuring they remain relevant and beneficial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a truly critical, yet often overlooked function for any nation heavily engaged internationally.
You can think of a country's MOUs and agreements as its diplomatic portfolio. And just like an investment portfolio, it needs regular review.
So the monitoring cell is responsible for reviewing these MOUs agreements signed by various ministries and departments across the government, looking at them specifically from the angle of their continued relevance and status.
That's the key phrase.
Yeah.
Continued relevance.
Why is this so crucial, though? Wouldn't agreements just stay in effect unless something drastically changes? Aren't they usually kind of set and forget?
That's a great question, and it hits on a common misconception. International agreements are anything but static. Geopolitical shifts, changes in national priorities, maybe the completion of the project they were designed for.
Or new global challenges emerging.
Exactly. All these things can quickly render an MOU obsolete or in dire need of revision. An old agreement focused on, say, traditional energy might be far less relevant today than one on renewable energy.
So this section ensures India's huge network of international commitments stays current, effective, and crucially, serves its evolving strategic interests.
Precisely. Without this constant, proactive review, a nation could find itself bound by outdated, irrelevant, or even counterproductive agreements, tying up valuable diplomatic resources unnecessarily, potentially missing new opportunities.
It's about maintaining diplomatic agility and optimizing resource allocation. The strategic cleanup crew for diplomatic legacy, maybe?
I like that. And to do this, they liaise and follow up extensively with the various line ministries, divisions within the ministry itself, and also with India's missions and posts abroad on a regular basis.
That sounds like a truly complex web of coordination, just to check if agreements are still effective, given how many agreements a major nation must have.
It sounds like an enormous undertaking. But this continuous liaison is absolutely key. It shows the review process isn't a one-off event, but an ongoing, integrated effort involving multiple stakeholders, domestically and internationally.
Missions abroad must provide crucial feedback from the ground.
Exactly. They see the practical application, the impact, or sometimes the lack thereof. This deep collaboration ensures comprehensive, up-to-date information, allowing for active portfolio management of these international commitments.
It speaks to a very sophisticated, systemic approach to foreign policy management, keeping diplomacy dynamic, responsive to real-world conditions, aligned with India's interests.
It's much more complex than just checking a box. It's a living assessment process.
So what were the results in 2023? Out of a grand total of 3,329 MOUs and agreements.
Wow, over 3,000.
Yeah, a significant 522 were reviewed by this cell. And what's particularly fascinating is the outcome. 473 MOUs were extended, indicating continued utility,
So still working well.
while 49 MOUs were identified for discontinuation.
Ah, okay. Pruning the portfolio.
These numbers really speak volumes about the strategic management happening here.
They are incredibly telling. It shows a truly proactive, almost surgical approach. Extending 473 agreements indicates sustained, fruitful partnerships, clear value. Discontinuing 49 demonstrates a strategic willingness to prune agreements that no longer serve their purpose, have achieved their goal, or are just redundant now.
It's critical for optimizing diplomatic resources, ensuring foreign policy stays agile, efficient, impactful.
Making sure every diplomatic effort is purposeful, not just inertia. This active management is a hallmark of strategic efficiency and forward thinking in international relations. Preventing bureaucratic bloat, ensuring diplomatic capital is invested wisely.
Our final stop in this deep dive into the Parliament and Coordination Division is the Education section.
Okay, education.
This sounds like a very direct and tangible way the ministry connects with future generations,
Yeah.
particularly from other countries. Investing in human capital, building long-term relationships beyond traditional diplomacy.
You're absolutely right. This highlights a significant, powerful aspect of India's soft power and its developmental diplomacy. By actively offering quality educational opportunities, India isn't just building goodwill or strengthening bilateral ties.
Although it does that too.
Oh, certainly. But it's also directly contributing to capacity building in those friendly and developing nations, nurturing their future leaders and professionals.
The real insight here is how these individual admissions collectively weave a deep generational diplomatic fabric.
Exactly. Imagine a young student from a developing nation getting a world-class education in India. Years later, they might be a minister, a top scientist, a successful business leader, a prominent cultural figure back home.
With a deep understanding, personal connections, and a positive feeling towards India.
Precisely. This isn't just goodwill, it's a strategic, long-term investment in global partnerships. It proves that sometimes the most impactful diplomacy happens not in grand halls, but in university classrooms and labs, quietly shaping future narratives.
That's a truly profound way to look at it, a long-term diplomatic strategy.
Yeah.
So the education section deals with selection, nomination, admission of foreign students from a wide range of 57 friendly neighboring and developing countries.
57 countries, that's quite a reach.
And they facilitate admissions for highly sought-after professional courses. MBBS, medical, BDS, dental, B-Arch, architecture, BE, B-Tech engineering, B-Pharmacy, and diplomas in engineering and pharmacy, all in various government institutions in India.
Indicating a strong commitment to quality education in these key fields. These are high-demand, high-impact fields crucial for any nation's development.
The report notes these admissions happen under the self-financing scheme. Again, seats specifically allocated to this ministry by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and the Ministry of Education.
Which itself shows significant interministerial coordination to make the program happen.
And here's a detail that adds that crucial layer of compassionate humanitarian effort we talked about. Persecuted religious minority migrants from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, who are currently based in India, were also offered seats under this scheme.
That inclusion really demonstrates a deeply compassionate dimension to India's foreign policy, its commitment to humanitarian values. It's an incredibly impactful example of how administrative mechanisms can serve broader ethical and social goals.
Providing vital opportunities for vulnerable populations seeking refuge and a chance at a new future.
It truly is. It showcases a commitment to humanitarian values alongside strategic educational diplomacy. It adds moral weight, extending educational access and promise to those who might otherwise have very limited opportunities.
It provides tangible benefits to individuals and also sends a powerful message about India's values internationally.
Contributing to its image as a responsible and empathetic global actor. It's quiet, but incredibly significant public diplomacy.
So for the academic year 2023-24, the report shows concrete outcomes. 28 eligible applicants got seats in BE Tech B Arch B Pharmacy courses.
Okay.
For MBBS and BDS Medicine and Dentistry, a total of 275 applications were received from various foreign nationals and those persecuted minority migrants based in India.
High demand for medical seats.
Very high. And crucially, all 31 medical seats allotted to the ministry by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare were fully utilized.
100% utilization. That's significant. These numbers, while maybe seeming small in the grand scheme of India's total university admissions, represent real lives changed and significant opportunities for individuals and their home countries.
The fact all allocated medical seats were used speaks volumes about the demand for quality Indian education, especially in critical fields.
And the efficiency of this section in connecting eligible students with these invaluable opportunities, it reinforces India's growing reputation as an educational hub, not just for its own citizens, but for students globally, especially from developing nations building their own capacities.
This program builds deep generational ties, fostering goodwill that lasts far beyond their academic years, a lasting legacy of diplomatic connection.
Indeed.
So we started this deep dive exploring the broad, incredibly diverse mandate of the Parliament and Coordination Division.
Right. Parliament and coordination.
From there, we journeyed through its specialized sections. Parliament section, the Democratic Interface, Coordination section, orchestrating global initiatives, the monitoring cell, reviewing agreements, and the education section, fostering academic exchange.
Quite a range of functions.
From facilitating high-level parliamentary discussions on terrorism and climate change to orchestrating worldwide celebrations like AHAM, streamlining complex interministerial communication, meticulously reviewing international agreements, and even shaping the future by bringing foreign students to Indian campuses. This division is truly the unsung hero.
The operational backbone of the ministry's sprawling operations.
This deep dive really reveals that what might look like just admin or coordination work is actually the intricate scaffolding supporting a nation's entire international presence and internal coherence.
It's the silent, systematic, often incredibly complex work that allows a country to navigate global challenges, project its values, extend its influence effectively and consistently.
It's the meticulous detail underpinning every grand strategy and every high-profile diplomatic success.
Couldn't agree more.
So the next time you hear about a major diplomatic initiative, a global summit, or a national campaign with international reach, maybe take a moment to consider the unseen threads being meticulously woven by divisions like this one.
What other essential, yet often overlooked governmental functions do you think underpin a nation's global influence and internal harmony?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. This deep dive certainly shows us that behind every grand policy, every public face of diplomacy, there's a dedicated team ensuring the very fabric of governance holds strong, quietly shaping the world, one coordinated effort at a time.